is Mrs. Hall, and welcome to my video about factoring. Let's begin. A factor is a number, monomial or polynomial, used in an expression as a multiplicand. I know you guys are wondering, what is a multiplicand? Well, say I give you a number 60, and I ask you to find two factors of 60. Two numbers that you may give me are 5 and 12. 5 and 12 are considered multiplicands. They are multiplicands, okay? So 5 times 12 gives you 60. Those are two factors of 60. If I wanted to break down 12 some more, you would get 4 and 3. 4 and 3 are two factors of 12. If I break down 4, I would get 2 and 2. 2 times 2 are two factors of 4. 5, 2, 2, and 3. These are the prime factors. And when I say prime factors, that means they can't be broken down anymore. These are the prime factors of 60. So if I wanted to write out the prime factors of 60, it would be 5 times 2 times 2 times 3. Okay? Now if I just wanted regular factors of 60, it would be 5 times 12 or what have you. Okay? Sometimes it's very helpful to find the prime factors of a number. Another way to write this, since I have two number 2's right there, I could say 5 times 2 to the second power times 3. So I could also rewrite it this way. And then, of course, since we're in high school, we like to use dots to indicate multiplication instead of the x. Okay, because we also have variables with x's. So this is how you would factor a number. Let's talk about factoring an expression. If I wanted to factor this expression, 2x plus 6. If I ask you to factor this expression, I need to figure out what does 2 and 6, and if there's any variables, what do they have in common? Well, this has an x and this 6 does not. So there are no variables that they have in common. So there are no common factors there. But let's look at the 2 and the 6. They both have something in common. 2 times 3 gives me 6. So the factors of 2x plus 6, they have a common factor of 2. So if 2 is their common factor, what will be left after I factor the 2 out? Well, let's find out. If I factor out the 2, that means I'm dividing everything in this equation, in this expression, by 2. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. So I put whatever's left over inside of the parentheses. And then the x, there's nothing in common with the x, so the x stays there. Plus 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my two factors of 2x plus 6 will be 2 and then x plus 3. These are my two factors of 2x plus 6. So there you can see the difference between factoring a number and factoring an expression. As we get into this semester, we're going to be talking about that in more detail. But let's give you one more problem just to give it a try. Let's give you another expression. Let's use the expression 4x plus 16x squared. Now we have more than just a number in common. We've got some variables in common. We've got the x, and this has an x squared. But let's look at the numbers first. What does 4 and 16 have in common? They're both divisible by 4. So if I factor out the 4, what am I left with inside the parentheses? So that means I can divide both of them by 4. Both of these expressions by 4. Whatever's left, I put it on the inside. So let me make this 4 out here green. 4 divided by 4 is 1. We're not going to look at the variables yet. Plus 16 divided by 4 is 4. Now let's look at the variables, the x and the x squared. This has 1x, this has 2x's. So we have to go with whatever they have in common. They only have 1x in common because this one doesn't have 2x's. So I can only factor out one of the x's. X divided by x is the same thing as saying 1 divided by 1. You get 1. So it's going to be 1 times 1. Okay? X squared divided by x, you subtract your exponents. X squared, so I'm going to say x to the 2 minus 1. Whenever you divide variables, you subtract the exponents. 2 minus 1 is 1. So I am left with an x right here. So that means my factors of 4x plus 16x squared will be 4x, because that's what I factored out. That's what we did at the denominator. And then what's left over, 1 times 1 is 1 plus 4x. So these two are the factors of 4x plus 16x squared. Now I know this can be complicated when you start adding in variables, but we'll get into it in more detail as we go throughout the semester. And please, of course, ask questions as we feel necessary. Bye, and have a great day.